Okay, in the previous video we ran our application in an Android virtual device, in an emulator in other words. We're now going to test out this same application on an actual real physical Android device. I'm just going to go through and show you how to make sure that the device has been found by Eclipse, and then how to select it and run it. So let's get into that. Okay, so I'm going to open Eclipse as per normal and select the default workspace, and we're going to be working on the same project that we created 2 videos ago. So we're just going to wait now until it loads. Now we're going to go over to here and we're just going to check our configuration settings again. We're going to right click, go down to Run As, and then Run Configurations. And I'm going to click on Target. And you can see that it's set up at the moment to always prompt to pick device. So we can choose whether to, we did that in the previous video actually. So we can choose whether to run on an Android virtual device or a real device. So that's fine. We're going to close that. Now what I want to do is click on the DTMS perspective. And that's the devices screen, for want of a better term. And that's going to show us all the devices that are running on the computer. Now you can see that the AVD option here is running, and that's of course our Android virtual device. And if I Alt Tab into that, you'll see that that's still running. So that's the reason that that's showing up. But what I'm going to do now is actually connect up my Android device, and we should see that come up on the screen as well. So I've just plugged it in. Okay, so you can see it's now showing up on the screen here, Asus Nexus 7, that's my real device, and that's online as well. So now we've actually got 2 devices, one's a virtual device and one's a real device that we can run the application on. So if I then go back into the TIM perspective, and of course you can have called that whatever you like. I just happened to select it and called it TIM. Now if I right click and do a Run As, or I can just go up here to click by default. So you can go back in, we can right click it, Run As, and select the application that way. But just so you know, because we've configured it to ask us which device to run on, we can also just click on this Run button here. Okay, you can see I've now got that option. We've got the Android virtual device as an option, and also the Asus Nexus 7, which is my real device, my Android device. So I'm going to run it on the physical device. Okay, so I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to run it on my real device. You can see down the bottom, because I've got the console window selected, it's actually running it and it's all looking good. Okay, so I'll now just navigate over to my real Android device just to show you what it looks like on that screen. Okay, so here it is running on my real Nexus device. Now you can see it does look a little bit different, and just to prove that I'm running it on a real device, I'm going to change the orientation. So you should see that change now. It probably looks a little bit funny on the screen, but I'll change it back to portrait again. So you can see that is running, and I'm going to just click on Home. Same thing, I'm going to go into the settings again, and we'll be able to see our app, which is there down the right down towards the bottom. See the last icon right at the bottom, second to last from the right. I'm going to click on that now, and that starts it up again. So it's only a very basic app, but just the other thing, just to show that it's working, we can actually go into the settings for the app. Oops, wrong settings. Those are the right settings. And we're going to apps. And we can see there my first app. I'm going to click into that. And you can see there is the app that's actually been installed on this device. So I can go ahead and uninstall that now, which I'll do. And we're back in Eclipse. So there you go, that's how to run it on your device. And again, if you've got any problems with your device not showing up when it should, do try unconnecting it, or unplugging it and plugging it back in again. You'd be surprised how often that will fix an issue. But also, if you're on Windows, make sure that you have loaded the USB driver. Very important to do that, because Windows won't find your Android device until that's installed. Your USB drivers are installed, and refer back to the setup section of this course where I go through and show you how to set up the drivers. For Mac users, it's an automatic process. You don't need to install any drivers for it to work. It should really be just a matter of actually plugging it in. Now, of course, on both Mac and Windows, you still need to go into the Android device itself, the physical device, and make sure that you've configured that correctly and you've enabled USB debugging. And again, I've got a video for that in the setup section, sections 2 and 3 of this course, so you know what to do there. Okay, so that's running our app in or on an Android device.